Hey folks, what's up? How's everybody? I haven't updated last week, week 7, and so I'm giving bi-weekly updates from now on, 7 and 8 together, and progressively I might move on to monthly updates. That's because I'm at a point where the changes are not so dramatic, the things I can do and the progress. I'm progressing every day and I can feel it, but it's not going to be as dramatic as the start, so that makes sense. On week 7, the start of week 7 was the point where I could start walking, and I was really excited. So I walked a lot, and I must say, at first walking was really slow, and I could walk only for a very short time before my knee area starts to ache and actually hurt, and I would start limping just to avoid um, the pain. Towards the end of week 8, towards the end of last week, I I was standing around, I was walking, half a day for hours, and that was fine. I mean, every day I would feel like I could walk a bit further, and the pain would be a bit less, but still, there is quite a bit of discomfort after about half an hour of walking. Um, my medial meniscus area, the inside part of my knee where the meniscus is, um, where the doctor stitched up, that will start to ache a bit. Right. So in terms of pain, I am still aching during when I sleep. So that's one. And at some positions, when I stretch, for example, the pigeon pose, where you tuck in your knee and you try to stretch the outside of your leg, um, at that bent angle, the inside of my knee near the medial meniscus area that starts to ache. And stiffness when I stand up. So once I sit down for a long time and I stand up, I can't straighten my leg immediately, and so some discomfort there. Um, Going up and down stairs. So different challenges. While I'm going downstairs, if I'm standing on my operated leg and I'm reaching down with my non-operated leg, and when the operated leg starts to bend like this, sometimes I could feel the knee is a bit stiff, but only maybe 2 out of 10 times. If I'm properly warmed up and feeling good and strong, that doesn't really happen. But I had one instance where I went downstairs too fast, and the pain was a bit acute. It went away immediately, but it did feel like the knee, when I bent down, the operated knee, started to feel like a slight tear. Right? So after that I was really careful. Going up the stairs has its own challenge. Um, so I have had this knee ligament tear for many years, and so all these years of living with a torn ACL has made a particular angle, um, my knee will become weak. So if let's say, if you imagine a piston squat, a one-legged squat, I could go all the way down and almost all the way up at like the last 5 degree when it's bent and straightening. This was very weak, when I had my torn ligament. After I had my ligament reconstruction, my knee feels stable, right? It feels really stable. The only ache I have is the medial meniscus part. But I guess after so many years of just avoiding that last little stretch, last little extension, and compensating with my good leg, um, that is weak. So going upstairs, same thing. When I'm going up, pushing, straightening my operated leg, that last 5 degrees is very weak. So I started out with a routine with my personal trainer, and we are doing um, leg press, right? So leg press, single leg press. My right leg, it's it's doing 40 kg, right? No problem, right? Flex extended. My left leg can only handle 5 kg, especially when extension, this last extension, when I'm almost straight and I push straight, I can't even handle 5 kg of that. Honestly, it feels very weak. It feels like if I push it too much, I feel insecure. I fear that my knee would, give way. So I'm trying to. In fact that's my biggest challenge, and it ties in with the stair climb. So I think I'm working a lot on that. But otherwise, I do feel that I'm getting better every day, 1% better. So I would feel like um, the next day I could feel like going up the stairs and down the stairs. I, I, it's so much better. The day before, I needed to really hold on to the handles. The next day, I feel that I can hold on less. Or walking. The day before, I could walk 20 minutes and then without feeling pain, and then the next day, 30 minutes, right? So the encouraging thing is that I feel better every day. 1% better, very slow, but there is something I could do better than the day before. So that's very encouraging. Right. Um I I met up with my surgeon. So he says that um my knee is very stable now, very strong. And so he's very encouraged. There was a good surgery. The wounds are healing well, so nothing from him. The only thing is, he says that my extension is still not at 0 degrees. Again, if I stretch, I warm up, I massage, it can get at 0 degrees. I'm still not at the hyperextension that my normal leg can do, but my left leg, my operated leg, can be at 0, right? But but he says continue to work on that. On the flexion side, it's about a little bit more than 100 degrees, so 90 degrees, 100 degrees. And in fact, after I saw him, it's been a few days. I've been working on it very hard, and it has improved, right? Maybe now it's 110, 120. I don't know, right? But that feels at least easy. That improvement, that feels like I can still improve. Whereas for the leg straightening, it does feel like it's diminishing returns. I stretch every day with a weight, and still, there's not a lot of dramatic improvement. It doesn't bother me. Now at 0 degrees, it was a bit like how my knee extension was before the surgery. Hopefully I can get the hyperextension, but if I don't, I'm okay, right? As long as I can fully engage my quads. So for the objectives, it's still range of motion and strength, right? So range of motion, working on leg straightening, and then for flexion, for the next 2 weeks, I'll be trying to work it so that my foot can go as close to my butt as possible. So my non-operated leg, I can go full flexion, Asian squat, ass to grass. The heel of my foot can touch my butt cheek. So I want that for my operated leg. And so for that, check out YouTube for a lot of exercises. The one I'm doing is just baby pose, where I go to a kneel position, then I bend down and I try to push my butt as close as possible to the heel. That works. If not, I do feel that standing position, I tuck in my leg behind me, like I'm stretching for my quads, and then lean that leg against the wall and try and back myself into it. right? And that I think kind of helps too. So, and then working on strength. Strength, it's good. It's just that again, that final little extension for my operated knee. I'm working very hard on that. So, I'm starting on a kind of a modified sitting start piston squat. So, I do a sit start, almost standing up, and then raise my left leg so that I'm ready to do a piston stand. Let's just call it piston stand, right? And right now I still need to hold on to something to get a final push, but ideally I could stand on myself. Yeah, so that's that. And so for exercises, I'm almost back to a lot of things I could do before, and so I've started out doing CrossFit, watts, and I could get on a row machine. That really helps. I went on the stand machine, obviously trying to get that leg push to extension, and then yeah. So for the next 2 weeks, just these two things. I think the strength component will start to come really quickly. Although my doctor warned me not to go crazy, and so he actually said that strength component comes later. Right now, get the range of motion. Don't go too heavy because internally, the structures that were operated upon are still healing, right? And so that's the crazy thing. So he said that my meniscus was torn. So instead of snipping it off, he actually he trimmed the parts outside, right, so that it doesn't flail about and block my knee joint. But inside there were a lot of tears. He, instead of cutting out the entire meniscus or the torn part, he stitched them together. And he said that the stitches hold on to the tears right now, and he hopes that the tear could heal because now it's in contact. But because it's meniscus, there is a high chance that it might not heal. And so he said that if they don't heal, the stitches will eventually weaken and dissolve, and the meniscus might get torn again. And I asked him how to make sure that that doesn't happen, and he says that it's symptomatic. So the only way to know is if it works if your meniscus don't tear. If your meniscus tear and it means it didn't work. So let's hope we nothing happens and we don't find out till forever. All right, thanks guys.